And there was a moment in 1992 when I was in Los Angeles and I was graduating from my undergraduate, my master's at that time, and there was a scholarship ceremony, and I was not getting a scholarship. I was helping to organize it as part of the department I was in. And that night was the night that the Rodney King verdict came out in Los Angeles. And that evening at Florence and Normandy in Los Angeles, the riot/uprising started. And we went forward with our scholarship ceremony because these folks, they deserved to be honored and so on. But we were in Orange County, California, which was about an hour away from where that was going on. And I remember that night, the room was, modestly diverse, but not very. And one of the professors, as part of his remarks, said, look, I'm not here to make this a downer for everybody, but I think it needs to be said that 1 hour away from where we're standing tonight, people are burning down their city because they don't feel a sense of possibility. They don't feel the system works for them. And he said, you don't need to feel guilty about that, but we need to feel responsibility to change that. All right? That is what every one of us in this circle wears with us, is an opportunity. If you can afford to come to Arizona to do this, wonderful, wonderful. Then we need to do more. We need to do more. We need to do more. So politically right now, Common Power has been in 16 states over the course of this election year. 16 states. We're in 4 right now this weekend. We're here, we're in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. We have 500 plus volunteers on the ground across those states. Puya, do we know how many doors we knocked yesterday?
We knocked over 15,000 doors!
Yeah, okay. And Washington too, right? Yeah. This election politically, when you look at the U.S. presidency and the U.S. Senate, comes down to a few key states. We know that. It comes down to a few key states. On the presidential level, it comes down to Arizona and Nevada. It comes down to Georgia, North Carolina. It comes down to Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Really comes down to those 7 states. In those 7 states right now, I think we are winning. Okay? I think we're winning in all 7. We're winning because of the incredible ground game. They were knocking 2,000 doors an hour in Pennsylvania yesterday, the Harris Walls team, and we're part of that. 2,000 doors an hour, all right? All right? I think we're winning. The polls say very tight, but I think we're winning. I think we're gonna win by 2 to 3 to 5 points in all of these states. The state that is the toughest right now is this one, okay? But let me just kind of say where we're at exactly. Arizona became a state in 1912, okay? And since Dwight Eisenhower got elected president in 1952, Arizona voted for the Democratic candidate one time until 2020. They voted for Bill Clinton in 1996, barely, and they really happened because Ross Perot was running as a third-party candidate, okay? So when Joe Biden won that election here in this state, and I took a photo because I'm obsessed like this, all right? By 10,457 votes. 10,457 votes in 2020. That was an earthquake. When Kyrsten Sinema won her Senate race in 2018 and became the first statewide Dem to win in a long time in this state, that was an earthquake. Maybe she's not as strong a Democrat as many of us would like today, but she was at the front lines of that. She got it done, all right? We got to value that and appreciate that even though she may not be the candidate I want now, she nonetheless was out there at the front. In 2020, when Biden wins, it's narrow. In 2022, Mark Kelly wins re-election by 125,000 votes, okay? 125,000. That's a lot of votes, folks. When Biden won by 10,000, 125,000. Katie Hobbs won re-election by 17,000 votes. If she hadn't done that, you know who's governor? Oh my God. She's a national joke, but she would be the governor. And I don't live in Arizona, but I know some people I care about who do. and she would be their governor. And she would not be fighting for abortion rights in the way that Katie Hobbs is. And at the the Attorney General race, Chris Mays, she won election by 280 votes. 280 votes. It is Mays as the AG and Hobbs as the governor that have been fighting for reproductive rights, because when Dobbs happened, Arizona had a law that went back before the Civil War that outlawed abortion, all right? So these elections really matter in this state. Now, when you look at the New York Times poll for today, they show all these swing states, and they show the least productive for Harris is Arizona. They show Arizona going to Trump by 4. Okay? They show Arizona going to Trump by 4. So here's how we need to always look at polls. First of all, they're a snapshot. They're just a moment in time, always. We should always look under the hood. Okay? Under the hood. So that sample that they have in the New York Times Arizona poll is a Republican plus 12 sample. In their poll, there's 12% more Republicans. The actual so far rate of voting in this state, in this election, is Republican plus 8. Okay? So they're 4 points more conservative in this poll to start with than the actual vote is. All right? Than the actual vote is. So it's Republican plus 8 is the actual sample, is the actual distribution in the state. The poll is plus 12, and it shows Harris losing by 4. Okay? We know from early vote data in this state, from other polls, that Harris is actually winning. She's actually winning the early vote in this state. So if the vote already in this state is Republican plus 8 right now, okay, and she's already winning, and that poll shows plus 4, I don't buy it. Okay? And it isn't because I'm debunking the polls. I simply don't think it's possible in a state like this to be able to get an accurate compilation of it, of the actual realities, because you don't win as a Democrat in this state with only Democratic votes. You do not. In all the swing states in 2020, Joe Biden won more Republican votes in Arizona than any other state. He won 9% of the vote in this state of Republicans. No other state did he get that much percentage of Republican votes. I think Kamala Harris is going to get more than that in this state because we're knocking those doors. But we have to knock those doors. We have to knock those doors. All right? So I would say that right now it's a dead heat with even perhaps a slight advantage to Kamala Harris in this state. I would take it there. I think we could possibly sweep all of the states, all the swing states, but we don't need to. We don't need to. But we certainly need to win the Senate race in this state. We got to win the Senate race. And then there's 2 House district races in this state that we've got to win. And we're in the 1st congressional district. A guy by the name of David Schweikert, who's been the Republican incumbent for a long time, won by 3,000 votes in 2022. Can we turn that? Hell yes. Hell yes. And it was Schweikert who just a week ago, an unearthed recording of him saying after the Dobbs decision in 2022 that women who have abortions hate their country. That's who we're trying to beat in the 1st congressional district. Okay? But Arizona is not only unto itself. So if we go back to 1964, a guy by the name of Barry Goldwater was the senator in this state. And Hillary Clinton famously was a Goldwater gal. Anybody here Goldwater gals? It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's okay. We're not going to say leave, okay? It's all right. Barry Goldwater was the Republican nominee in 1964 for the presidency. He also voted against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. In 1964, because he voted against the Civil Rights Act and because the Civil Rights Act was kind of at its height in 64 and 65, Lyndon Johnson won election in 1964 with 61% of the popular vote. It's the most any president has ever gotten in the last 150 years. 61% of the vote. Crushed him. Goldwater gets crushed. But he wins this state. He's from Arizona. He wins this state. And he wins 5 other states, too. From west to east, he wins Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Georgia, and South Carolina. And the Republican Party says, That's our path back to power in this country, is through the South. And they adopt what they call the Southern strategy. And that Southern strategy leads Richard Nixon, and then Ronald Reagan, then George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush, and Donald Trump to run on a white supremacist, racist, misogynistic mindset that is put in terms enough that play well enough with enough Americans that it wins. And the Dems who win in that same period of time, all the way up to Obama, preceding Obama, the Dems that win at the presidency are two Southerners, Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton. This country's been dominated by Southern politics since the mid-1960s. Lyndon Johnson was correct when he said, when he signed the Civil Rights Act in 1964, that we've just given the country to the Republicans for at least a generation. All right? Because the American South switched. We are in the midst of reclaiming it. That's what we're doing. The states we work in have what we call the Southern Smile or the Southern Arc. Nevada, Arizona, Georgia. We're in Alabama also, North Carolina, Virginia, and then we have the upper blue wall. But that Southern Arc is how we win back this country. In 1964, the Democratic Party had 23 out of 26 U.S. senators in 13 states between Arizona and Virginia, across the South, in that Southern Arc. The Democrats had 23 out of 26 senators in the 1964 in those states. The shift away from the Democratic Party was so strong that in 2004, when George W. Bush won the election, the Democrats had 2 senators out of those 26. Two out of 26 senators. Today, because of the work in Georgia, in Arizona, in New Mexico, in Colorado, in Nevada, it is now 12 senators in each party, all right? 12 senators in each party. We need to hold this seat here, all right? We need to win this race here. We can do this. But the only way we do it is if we move our feet. So all day long, every door we knock is not just for us. It's for everybody before us who's fought to get us here. For everybody who's fought to get us here. It's for everybody. We're knocking doors, of course, for Kamala Harris, who would be the first woman and woman of color to become the president. We're knocking doors right here for Ruben Gallego, who would become the first Latino senator in this state. We're knocking doors for Dr. Amish Shah, who would become the first, I don't know what he is. Okay? I just know he and I are different and I'm with him. That's all I need to know. He stands for the principles and the values, and we're together, right? But that's the America we're knocking doors for, all right? That's what we're doing. Every one of us. So we came to Arizona to win an election, but we came to Arizona to change America. That's what we're here for. So please join me in a little call and response. I'll just say it and you repeat it. If not now, if not us, I'm messing it up. Okay? We'll try it one more time. If not now, then when? If not us, then who? All right? That's us. It's our time. It's our moment. We get to do this. This is not work. This is a privilege for us to be here. I'm honored to be here. It is a highlight of my life. I will never forget this moment right here. We will never forget this moment right here. Where were you the weekend before we elected Kamala Harris, right? Where were you, right? Where were you? When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we vote, we win. When we vote, we win. Let's go. Come on in. Jordan, come on in. Let's get around Jordan. You just stay right here. You're going to lead us, okay? Let's come on in, everybody. Come on.
Congratulations. So glad to meet you.
You're gonna do the further together, okay? But so at Common Power, we have the further together phrase. The longer understanding of that is there's an African proverb that says if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. All right? America doesn't understand what it means to go far. We don't. That's not the way that this nation's built. We need to change that. Yep. It takes work. It takes commitment. It takes stepping outside our comfort zone. It takes someone standing in the middle of a circle in a park and talking to every one of us, Jordan. Yeah. It takes you changing your decision where you want to go, and you're one of many at this organization that have done that. So bring it home.
Further together on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Further together! Let's go.